Hello, konnichiwa, ni hao. Today I'm going to be talking about Hertz Rent-A-Car because a lot of people have been buying this bankrupt stock, or at least they filed for bankruptcy. Now, people are just excited about this stock. It's almost as though it's like a sale at JCPenney where everybody's storming the store trying to buy everything because it's cheap, or it appears to be cheap. Everybody wants to buy a Hertz Rent-A-Car lately. Now today it was down 25%, I think, but recently it's been up like 200%. Is that insane?
Yeah, and one day it will just drop to a few pennies.
It will,
overnight, and people will be saying, "What happened? Why did it do that?"
Well, yeah, I think people do not understand bankruptcy in the U.S. In the U.S., the way it works is you file for bankruptcy. Who gets paid first? The lawyers and creditors, and the merchants, vendors. So you, as the guy or girl who bought the stock, you're the last in line to get paid. If there's any equity left, you're gonna get it, but you'll be the last in line. There might not be anything left actually, because they had a lot of debt, remember? And the bankruptcy judges are gonna try to make sure that the creditors get their assets to the extent possible. And it's not likely there's any equity left at end. I mean, I don't know that for sure. You can make your own judgment. But of course, the day traders and the crazy people on Robinhood, they love the volatility of a really dirt cheap stock. Now, you shouldn't own this kind of thing overnight. It's almost like one of those terrible leveraged ETFs at this point, because you're buying Hertz Rent-A-Car, but you're just playing with a trading vehicle. This is not some company you would ever want to buy at this point. Think about it this way. If this were not a stock, Daniel,
yep.
If this were not a stock, would you be looking at it and say, oh, this is a great company, I want to own this for like 30, 40 years, a bankrupt company?
No, it's playing hot potato. And
you just want to get rid of it and send it off to some other fool. But what if you are the last fool? Nobody thinks they are the last fool when they're buying something. Now, of course, this is actually pretty common. I've noticed this on a lot of stocks that that become worthless. On the way down, you will see these extreme moves up, and some of that is also because of the extreme short covering, because a lot of people have been shorting these kind of stocks for good reasons, because so many stocks have really bad fundamentals. But in the process of that, eventually people start to say, you know what, it's a good time to take profits. But oftentimes other people buying it also realize you have to exit your short position by buying it back, and they'll just stomp on the gas really hard in order to push this thing up, at least temporarily, and that's called a short squeeze. And they're pretty common. You can see it on a lot of stocks. You'll see this extreme move upward, and that's just a pretty common thing. My own advice though, I am not participating in this. I am not buying any bankrupt company. I don't really trade those kind of things, even though I'm sure it's fun for a lot of people, but I'm sure that it goes against you pretty fast, and you might even be caught surprised by the rapid move. But it is pretty common on Robinhood. I heard that Hertz Rent-A-Car is one of the top stocks that people are trading, so there's a little bit of irrationality on a short-term basis. And I think by trying to think about getting rich extremely quick, people are kind of almost short-circuiting the process, and oftentimes they will get burned, and as a result they will actually even be pushed behind. Like, for example, eventually these bankrupt kind of stocks that people want to buy, they're going to burn you because they're not going to continue to go up, and you might be surprised when you are the last one holding it. So that's not one that you should consider. You should buy high quality companies, and the ones that are very likely to do well because they're extremely profitable. There's kind of a barrier to entry, and you can kind of imagine it actually existing 10 to 20, 30 years from now. Maybe Hertz is not, just because of the fact that they filed for bankruptcy. So that is not one I would ever recommend. So thank you very much for watching. Smash that like button if you thought this video was interesting, and do it even if you didn't find it interesting, and definitely subscribe and hit the notification bell.